Hello everyone, TimeToGrind here, and today I wanted to talk about Gunfire Reborn. And Gunfire Reborn is the best FPS roguelite or roguelike I have ever played, hands down. If you made a roguelite version of Borderlands, this is exactly the game that you would have. And considering Borderlands is one of my favorite game franchises of all time, and roguelites are one of my favorite genres of all time, it's a no-brainer that I absolutely love this game. In the game, there's 6 different heroes to choose from that all have their own abilities, grenades, upgrades, and more. And like you would expect, you go from area to area killing enemies and getting awesome loot in the form of weapons or scrolls. Scrolls are just passive effects that come in different rarities that can do simple things like increasing your elemental damage, or wild things like allowing you to fire more ammo than you have in your gun, but you start dealing self-damage. The weapons, however, are the main thing you're going to focus on. Whenever they drop, they are so satisfying because they have the Borderlands light bars coming off of them, and there's a huge variety of weapons. There's pistols, SMGs, assault rifles, snipers, grenade launchers, rocket launchers, crossbows, melee weapons, baby dragons, and more. The weapon variety in this game is absolutely bonkers, and as you play more and more, you'll unlock even more weapons and scrolls that can drop in future runs. And also, all the weapons that drop are always randomized, so they'll have slightly randomized stats and also random modifiers on them to make each weapon you find truly unique. You can also find weapons with rarer modifiers on them that can make them even crazier than they normally would be. And the core gunplay in the game is so freaking satisfying. I have played thousands and thousands of hours of FPS games in my life, so I can immediately tell if the gunplay in a game is solid, at least in my opinion, and Gunfire's gunplay feels so tight and responsive and just satisfying and fun to play. Watching damage numbers pop off enemies when you hit them and watching them ragdoll when you kill them makes the game feel that much better. The enemies are also all unique, and as you go to different areas in a run, there are drastically different bosses and enemies. And going back to the different heroes, I've only had a chance to play 2 of the 6 because they're all locked behind progression, which I'll touch on in a second, but every hero feels completely different. Each hero's different starting ability is already enough to set them apart, like the starting hero can suspend enemies in a siren bubble, the second hero can dual wield weapons like the Gunzerker, and the other heroes seem just as unique. And every time you defeat a floor or challenge vault, you unlock a chest that will allow you to choose one of 3 different upgrades to your character. And each character has 3 different types of upgrades, and there's 6 upgrades in each type, and each of those upgrades can be upgraded 3 different times. So as an example, the starting hero Crown Prince has an elemental tree, a smoke bomb tree that buffs his smoke bombs, and an orb tree that buffs his main ability. And so every run is a drastically different, kind of experience, even if you're playing the same character, because you can build the characters completely different, and this adds a huge amount of replayability to the game. And when you complete a run or die, you earn some soul essence that you can use for the out-of-game progression. The main use for it is to level up in the talent tree that offers a ton of kind of boring stat upgrades that affect all your characters. So things like more max health or shields or ammo. You can also use the soul essence to unlock a couple of the characters, and each hero has like 4 or 5 upgrades themselves, but the majority of the progression is that giant talent tree. And I'm not gonna lie, this is not my favorite part about this game. I love out-of-game progressions in roguelites, but this game just feels really, really grindy, and most of the upgrades are just boring stat changes like I mentioned earlier. There are some cool things, like there's one upgrade that allows you to find these special unique modifiers on each of the guns in future runs, but most of the tree is totally lame. My viewers and other YouTubers I've played with have said that they just cheated a save file to skip it all, and I honestly don't blame them. If they just made the tree smaller and only included things that actually were interesting, it'd be so much better, but I guess it does kind of help with long-term replayability. There's also, multiple difficulties and, kind of ascension levels, if you want to call them that, that you will unlock as you beat the game more and more and more, so, that kind of helps with you scaling up in power, though it does lead you to really not being able to play with friends of drastically different levels, because I tried to play with my maxed friend and we beat the game so easily, and it kind of made me realize how much the raw stat upgrades there were in the tree because of how much she was carrying me. Also, just gotta mention it, but you know, kind of talking about the art style, I love the art style in the game. It's so pretty, and you know, I just always have a soft spot for these cell shaded type of games. And either way, even with the super grindy and slightly boring progression, I still think this is one of the best FPS roguelites I've played solely from the pure gameplay and the variety of the heroes. The little progression that I do enjoy, you know, in terms of unlocking new heroes and the, you know, upgrades of the heroes themselves are really awesome, and just the game itself is so freaking good. So if you are a fan of FPS roguelites, or if you're a fan of like Borderlands and want something like that, I would 100% recommend this game. And if you want to see even more gameplay, I have a whole Let's Play series playlist of me playing the game a ton, including a bunch of collab videos with some other YouTubers, so definitely check that out if you're interested. And if you enjoyed this video, then consider subscribing and ringing that bell like all the big boy YouTubers say to be notified when more reviews and roguelite coverage come out. And if you're going to be grinding out some of the progression in Gunfire Reborn, then I wish you guys luck, and see you all next time.